Good morning, I'm Jonathan from Mental Help. Today we're going to talk about some OCD tips. Now, I've been giving OCD a lot of thought and it's always in my head and I'm sure it's always in yours as well. We see OCD as a bully because that's what it really is. It's oppressing and pushing us and punishing us and giving us rules and legislation to follow that it makes up willy-nilly. And we sort of bow down and just do whatever it says. Well, I generally do. And I'm not a weak person, but it's an exhausting fight. I find when it comes to OCD, I've never been able to beat it. I started to think about different ways and more positive ways that we could view OCD and then try to tackle it. If we're to look at OCD in a positive light, I've said before that if I could get rid of all of my mental health problems just by pressing one button, I probably wouldn't do it. All the mental health things I struggle with are a challenge and they can be really, really depressing. But there are good things associated with some of these issues. And I wanted to talk about OCD in a positive light and see if this actually resonates with anybody out there. OCD can be really productive. Whilst OCD is a bully and it has you running around in circles doing rituals and various different habits and obsessions and compulsions, I wonder if you can see any positive parts of the way OCD might be affecting your life and try to highlight some of the things that it gives you the power to do and almost like see OCD as a superpower. Let's have a look at it more positively and see if we can maybe harness some of the positives from OCD. Yes, we do really need to look at CBT, ERP and all of these different things to eradicate the negative and the most oppressive and depressing issues that we have with it. Have a look in your life. Are there some good things? Because generally it's been found that people who do have OCD have a very high mental capacity, even though we might feel overwhelmed and that we're struggling with them. Because we're always under fire and our minds are always firing and functioning and thinking, we don't get any rest, do we? If you're like me, I'm always thinking about different things and I just don't stop and I completely get consumed. And this morning I was thinking about some of the crazy things that OCD has actually made me do. And I'm not going to go into them all. I'd been in a shop and the man hadn't said goodbye to me, even though I'd said goodbye. And I just walked off and then it started to bother me and it started to become an obsession. By the time it got so bad, I was 40 miles away from that shop. And I wasn't going to go back there again because I was passing through. So I was really, really struggling. And I knew that by the time I was 200 miles away from that shop, and definitely not going back because I was passing, that this could be an obsession that bothered me for months and months. And I have had obsessions that have not gone away for months. They've always been in the back of my mind. And sometimes they fester into your brain and into your thoughts so much that you start to have nightmares. I'm talking about weeks and weeks later. Nightmares about nothing relevant. Someone not saying goodbye to you, thinking there's something wrong with someone, thinking you've upset somebody. You can't get them to leave your mind. These come in all the time. So I drove back that 40 miles. That's an 80-mile round trip. That situation was one of the many that really highlighted to me I've got an issue. That happened 20 years ago and I still remember it like yesterday. Instead of beating ourselves up about these things, maybe we need to start to look at the positive side of these things. Because to actually turn a car around when you are on a journey and decide to go back 40 miles, it's a lot of work. But let's look at that positively. You could look at that situation and think that's really negative. Why did I do that? I was not wise. It was a waste of time, a waste of petrol, a waste of money. But then I started to think about it in a different way and try to harvest some good out of that experience. When I say it's a superpower, obviously, I'm being a bit tongue-in-cheek with that. There's certainly a very strong desire to be that dedicated that you're willing to go and do that over something that's very, very minor to most people. And that got me thinking that through my life, a lot of the things that I do, I've always been quite an extreme person in the sense that I go to the far edges of whatever I'm trying to pursue, whether it's good or bad. With age, I've learned to focus my obsessiveness on positive things. If I was trying to give an illustration of something for you to understand with me, I guess probably an easy one would be a month ago I started this channel on OCD. Just decided I'm so driven It's almost that superpower is an unstoppable force, and I'd like you to try to see that in your life. And I've done, 57 videos, and it probably take quite a bit of time to edit and faff about and do that. And have a look at your OCD with a slightly different lens if you can. I'm challenging us today to start to look at our obsessive nature and see if we can find any positives that we can just pull out of it. Try and have a look at your OCD in a different light. It is a bully and it is a problem, and we're going to fight it. In the same way as fighting a bully, there could be some positives in fighting a bully. There generally is. Well, one thing, generally the first thing to do is learn how to fight. To get stronger, you get more resilient. Whenever there's an adversary, if you're going to overcome that adversary, you then have to do something to change yourself for the better. And also, just take a few positives of it, So it's almost like being picked on by a bully. Rather than kicking it in the nuts, I'm going to nick his wallet as well. Oh, that's terrible. Never mind. Let me know what you think. I hope that what I've said has been useful and I've come across in a helpful way. If you like the video, please click the thumbs up. That really helps it get promoted to other people. And also, if you can subscribe, then brilliant. I'll keep you up to date with the videos.